Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all my Peace Golem Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile. I've been wanting to do this deck profile for quite some time. I was kind of waiting for the ban list to see if anything fusion-wise would either come off the list or put onto the list, but I saw that not much has changed for this deck since the ban list to add on 4 cards. It's a really awesome deck. For those of you that don't know who the Peace Golems are, they are the different 3-size monsters that Jack Atlas used in Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds to then fuse into multiple Peace Golem, and I just wanted to focus the deck around those 3 cards and a bunch of different other rock support to focus on the fusion summon, but also just to quickly use the Golem monsters and also some of the other rock support we have for the deck. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So to start off, for the monsters, we'll go ahead and start with the biggest of the Peace Golems, and that is Big Peace Golem. If your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, you can normal summon this card without tributing. So it's a 2100 attack point, level 5 monster. So this is the powerhouse of all the different Peace Golems, but it also works with the other Peace Golems we have in the deck, being able to special summon out the other different ones depending on which one you have on the field. So you can swarm your field very, very quickly with your different Golems. The main fusion of the deck is multiple Peace Golem, which you need Big Peace Golem and Medium Peace Golem to get out. Small Peace Golem is just a card that helps to assist with getting out Medium Peace Golem. So just having Big Peace Golem is a big part of the play to start off with. And I also run 3, going right down the line with the different golems. 3 medium piece golem. When this card is summoned, if you control a big piece golem, you can special summon 1 small piece golem from your deck. That monster's effect is negated while it's face up on the field, but as long as you use it for other summons, you're not really limited to what you can do with the cards. More for the fact also that you would just be able to continuously summon out different golems when you summon out the other golems, but medium piece helps to get out the small piece golem, which then you can use, like I said, for other extra deck summon. So it's a very, very big and helpful card for sure. And I also run 3, we've been talking about enough, small piece golem. With this one, when it's summoned, if you control a big piece golem, you can special summon 1 medium piece golem from your deck. That monster's effect is negated while it's face up on the field. So once again, going back to the whole fact that if you were to summon out the medium piece golem, then you would just be able to instantly use that monster's effect again to summon another small piece and continue from there. But having small piece golem and have it able to set up your medium piece golem is just very, very helpful, since, like I said, these 2 cards are needed for the fusion summon of your big monster for the deck. So I like to run 3 of all of them, since they are also just the main focus of the deck as well. And for a little extra support with the fusions, I run 3 the Earth Hex Sealed Fusion. This card can substitute any fusion material for this. The other one must be the correct one, and you contribute fusion monsters on the field, including this card to special summon 1 Earth Fusion monster from your extra deck. I said fusion deck. This just shows how old of a printing this card is. But being able to cover for any of the additional golems we have on multiple Peace Golem is a big help for sure, with the Earth Hex Sealed Fusion being able to either take up medium piece or big piece golem, depending on which one you open up with in the deck. I like to run 3 of it as well, and the fact that it's also a rock monster makes it so I wanted to try and keep it so the whole lineup was rock, so I can fit in Tsundere into the deck, since it is a big help to boost up all the different monsters in the deck as well. And also, for more of the main deck monsters, I run 3 Barrier Statue of the Drought. Now, just being able to shut down your opponent for their plays is another key reason why I like this card in the deck. No monsters can be special summoned except for Earth monsters, which is, what we run completely in the main deck for a good majority of cards, aside from a few cards that work with a Gem Knight engine I'm trying to fit into the deck as well. But this card, we also run the double summon in the deck, so just being able to get this card out and then have our multiple piece golem play with the Solidarity setup as well helps, so we can just go up against our opponent with no fear of them special summoning anything aside from Earth monsters onto the field. And I also run, for another backup powerhouse to multiple piece golem, is Block Dragon. It cannot be normal summon or set, must be special summoned from your hand or graveyard by banishing 3 Earth monsters from your hand and or graveyard, and it cannot be special summoned by other ways. Rock type monsters you control cannot be destroyed except by battle, and if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add up to 3 rock monsters from your deck to your hand, whose total levels equal 8. You can only use this effect of Block Dragon once per turn, but a great protection for your golems on the field. Also, just having your multiple piece golem out on the field with this card is a scary combo for sure, since you'll protect it, and just having the boost with some of your other cards in the field is a big help as well. I decided just to keep it at 2 though. We run the Foolish Burial in the deck, so we're able to send it to the graveyard to set up, and we're not running a big majority of rock monsters. Like I said, not more than 50% of the deck is rock monsters, so as long as you have this card to focus on and you can get through the deck pretty quickly with some of your other cards, you'll be able to gain access to this quite fairly quickly as well. And then I also said I was running a few Gem Knight cards. I run 2 Gem Knight Lapis. Now this is just a big help for going into some of your Gem Knight plays as well. The big one being Zirconia, just having access to another powerhouse along with multiple piece golem in the deck, and also being able to use Brilliant Fusion with this card is a big help as well. And I also run to finish off the monsters in the main deck, the 1 Crystal Rose. Now, the one reason I run this card is solely for the fact of Solidarity. I thought of Perform Mage, Trapeze Magician for that fact, but the fact that you can get it into the graveyard so quickly with Brilliant Fusion, it would screw up the entire Solidarity play, having a non-rock monster in the graveyard. So I decided to stick with Crystal Rose. It is an easy special summon, aside from when you have the barrier statue on the field, but you're also able to just have it count as the scent effect for Gem Knight Seraphonite, which isn't limited by that effect, aside from the fact that it is a fairy, so remember that with the Solidarity play. But you can also just have this option open to you for that summon when it's on the field as well. So, like I said, having the Crystal Rose in the graveyard was more of a problem than the Seraphonite later on, which then, if it does end up in the graveyard, you can always just have other options of getting it back onto the field for some special summons. And that is it for the monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. For the fusion ratio, I decided to stick to 2 polymerization and 1 fusion substitute, just for more of a recycle play with the fusion substitute, and being able to have a search option with fusion recycling plant for that search, since this card does count as polymerization. So depending on if you have your field set up with the different golems in the deck, you can go for the fusion substitute with them on the field, but if you have them in your hand and you wish to fusion summon faster, polymerization definitely does come in handy. And I also run 1 Ultra Polymerization. You don't really use your life points for much else in the deck, so being able to special summon back more resources that you used for a fusion summon to the field is a definite help for sure when you just want to keep your numbers alive on the field and when you invest in a fusion play as well. And for a field spell, I run 3 Catapult Zone. This is a very nice field spell for rock monsters. Once per turn, if a monster you control would be destroyed by battle, you can send 1 rock monster from your deck to the graveyard instead. So you can also set up your block golem, block dragon, keep saying block golem, sorry about that, with this card, sending it to the graveyard to also protect your monster once per turn, but also setting it up in the graveyard to use as well is a big key part to the play as well. Just having that set up for a bunch of other different rock monsters in your graveyard can help to thin out the deck as well if you do have your plays set up. And I also run the 1 fusion recycling plant, as I said before, with the polymerizations, being able to add the specific one I need to my hand, and then once per turn during the end phase, I could target 1 monster in my graveyard that was used as fusion material for a fusion monster and add it to my hand. So I can reuse cards as well most of the time. If I have monsters on the field, I don't really want to go for the big piece golem, but I can go for multiple piece or even small piece just as another monster to normal summon next turn. And can't forget the 1 terraforming now that we have for the ban list, which you can search for either of the 2 field spells that I run, which is another great search option if I have one already on the field, but I want to go for another one to go for different plays. And another important part is that we're always just that 1 normal summon short to get the special summons for the Peace Golems, so 3 double summon along with the Brilliant Fusion, which we'll get to in just a second, helps for that additional normal summon from our hand, whether it be the Peace Golem or even just the Barrier Statue, which we can open up on our hand to get out on the field as well. And I also run the 1 Brilliant Fusion. This is just easy fusion summon for our different Gem Knight monsters we have. Also setting up the rock monsters in the graveyard for different ones, since Gem Knight Zirconia just requires a Gem Knight monster and a rock type monster to make. And I run 2 Solidarity. I was debating bumping this up to 3. If you want, you can try and maybe take out one of the other options we run in the deck, but I still like having at least the 2 for the power boost, as long as you keep all of the rock monsters in your graveyard, like I said before. But there are plenty of ways and plenty of other monsters in the extra deck to make use of this card, being the main cards you do summon out are rocks, so just remember that. And then for the one-ofs, I run one Foolish Burial, more graveyard setup, especially for Block Dragon Scapegoat. This one helps for more extra deck plays, especially if I can set up 2 Mrs. Radiant. That just makes our multiple piece golems all that stronger on the field. And I also run the 1 Reasoning. You have plenty of different level monsters in the deck, including the different levels for the piece golems to easily get one out onto the field. And lastly, the 1 Monster Reborn to special summon back more resources from the graveyard after we use them, even especially when we set them up with Catapult Zone for our protection of our rock monsters on the field. And then the only trap I am running in the deck is the Spiritual Earth Art Kurogane. You tribute 1 Earth monster on your side of the field to special summon 1 level 4 lower Earth monster from your graveyard, except the tributed monster, but more access to the different golems, especially when we have Big Piece Golem on the field to get another one out onto the field to get an additional special summon. So I really like this play to go into when I need it. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. I only have the 1 multiple piece golem, but I'll show what other cards it would replace for this card if you want to add additional ones, which I would definitely recommend at least 2. For the deck, you need big piece golem and medium piece golem to summon this card. And at the end of the battle phase, if this card attacked or it was attacked, you can return it to the extra deck, and then all of the fusion materials that were used for it, you can special summon them back to the field. So you can even then just obviously reuse the cards on the field for another fusion summon to this card, or you can go for another additional extra deck play, relying on the 1 in the extra deck. But like I said, sometimes if your opponent does something to this card to mess up the play, you'll want another option to go into with this also. And then for just additional support, the 1 Gem Knight Seraphinite for the Brilliant Fusion plays, giving you that additional normal summon as well. 2 Gem Knight Zirconias. When you have the options, if you have the 2 Lapis and just want to go for the Zirconias, you can do that instead. And I also run, for Link monsters, 2 Mrs. Radiant, the Earth boost, especially with Scapegoat, being able to give you 2 of these on the field to increase your monster's attack, along with Solidarity, insanely very well. And I also run 2 Nightmare Cerberus when you're limited for the Earth special summons. Having 2 of this instead of the 1 Phoenix definitely does help. And as another Earth monster, 1 Gaia Saber, the Lightning Shadow, for an Earth Link 3 with a little more power than some of the other cards. And then for Exceed monsters, I run 1 Gorgonic Guardian with the small piece golems. It definitely does come in handy, and also the Earth Hexial Fusion, if you're ever just stuck with those 2 cards, a good overlay for a strong rock monster. And also 1 Baguska, 1 Cowboy, and then just for some other options for level 4s, if you want, these would be the ones I would take out to adjust your numbers for additional multiple piece golems in the deck if you wanted to add more, like I said, since I want to stick with more Earth monsters if I could for your plays. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Like I said, I really do like making these fun decks for you all. So if you have any requests of other ones you would like to see, definitely leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you. But until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Twig out.